This podcast is for a mature audience and may be viewed as inappropriate or insensitive to some. Listener discretion is advised. The intention is to share conversation of like and unlike-minded individuals as they try to be the best them they can be in a life full of challenges, searching for love, acceptance, and positivity. Call 669-241-1422 and share yourself or catch up with Sweet Baby J for an anonymous face-to-face interview. Feel free to call in with questions, stories, thoughts, or anything you would love to talk about and share. Nothing is off the table when talking sweet with Sweet Baby J at 669-241-1422.
Ladies and gents and ladies, you are here talking sweet with Sweet Baby J. All day, every day. It's a no face, no case scenario. You are here talking sweet with Sweet Baby J. I got this young stallion here on the phone. We're going to talk about some things you guys might just need to hear. Young Stallion, what's your name? You care to share or you want to stay anonymous?
Nah, man, we can go ahead with it, man. They going to figure who we is.
Okay. He going to hold his name down. He like, nah, chill. They don't need to know. I feel it and I respect it.
They going to figure who we is.
All right. So what's going on, King? How's everything in your world these days?
I'm feeling good, man. It's another day. We all here, ready to do it again, so can't even complain.
Okay. So, my man, you have been previously incarcerated. Is that correct?
Yeah, no doubt.
How was that? Like, I don't even know how to ask because I've fortunately never been in such a situation. How is that being incarcerated?
It's a crazy situation on every side, and especially if you're there for some issue that you don't even know about and you didn't even do. So that's like, you did it or you have some idea about it. I guess while you in there, you can somehow make sense of it all because you did it. You had something to do with it. So you can be like, well, I was there, or I shouldn't have went there, or I shouldn't have did that, or I shouldn't have did it like that. You can wrestle with those kind of things. But when you ain't have nothing to do with it, you like, how the hell?
They say that there's only innocent men in jail. Every person in jail say, I didn't do it. But in your case, you legit didn't do it.
Yeah, legit. I never have even been to where it had said that it had happened. What I noticed, though, being locked up, and then you hear different people say they didn't do it. It'd be different scenarios. Like I said, like you could have been on the corner and they did a sweep and it wasn't your drugs, but you was there on the corner. You didn't do it, but you was there on the corner. Or you and your man went to the store, so just jumped off at the store and your man stabbed somebody and they locked both of y'all up. You didn't do it, but you was there. But when you don't have no idea, if you have no idea about it, that's a totally different scenario.
Are you free to share what happened in your case?
My case is basically I got arrested for an armed robbery. And I got arrested for an armed robbery because I had got shot. I got shot one night. One of my brothers got into an argument with another brother, and I got shot one night, and I went to the hospital. And that same night, on a different side of town, somebody had got robbed. And when the perpetrator was getting away, off-duty officer tried to catch one of them, and the guy jumped in a car, but before he jumped in the car, the officer, he had a gun. All right, the situation was, the dude said that he was at the bus stop. Some dudes came and robbed him. I guess the off-duty officer was on the bus or something. He got off the bus and was like, yo, what happened? The dude was like, yo, those two dudes robbed me, so he pursued. The dude split up. Said he followed the one that he followed had a gun. He said the guy was running to a car. Right before the guy got in the car, he turned towards the officer. Officer said in fear of his life, he fired one shot. The guy jumped in the car and they got away. So now they looking for somebody that might have got shot from that. They don't know if the guy got shot or whatever the case may be.
Wow.
Yeah. But I got shot. I'm in the hospital. The next day, I wake up with handcuffs on. Like what they talking about. They said that they brought somebody in my room and the man said, I look like the person that did it. So I went to trial. I went to trial on that, and I lost that trial.
Did you have a lawyer?
Yeah, I had a lawyer. Yeah, I had a lawyer. I had to pay a lawyer and everything. But see, the whole thing is, it's like you learn. Like I learned a lot about law. I learned a lot about court. It's like a good district attorney can make an innocent man look guilty, and a good lawyer can make a guilty man look innocent. So that's the kind of game that they playing. The district attorney can know that it's not you, but he's not going to be like, hey, I know that's not you. So now, if he can still lock you up, that proves how good he really is. He's not going to be like, well, I have a strong idea that it's not you, or most of the evidence that I have doesn't make it seem like it's actually you. So the little that he has, the more innocent you is if he can make you look guilty, then that's how good he is.
So it's not really about innocent or guilty. It's about who wins the game. It's just two people playing chess with another man's life.
Right, that's the kind of game that they playing. It's like now the judge is listening to all this, and the judge has the power to, like in my case, the judge really felt that there's a good chance that it probably wasn't me. So he gave me the minimum he could give me. If he could have gave me 2 days, he'd have gave me that. But he gave me the minimum. He could have gave me the maximum.
What was the maximum?
The maximum was 12.
How much did you get?
12. I got half of 12. 6.
Wow. How much did you actually serve?
8 and change.
So hold on. If the minimum was 6, how did you end up doing the extra 2.5?
Because the minimum is 6 for 12, right?
Yeah.
But the most you can do is 8. Depends on where you at, 8 or 9. The most. They got to let you out and got to let you do the rest on parole.
Okay.
Now, like I said, that was an armed robbery that I got arrested for. So that's a violent crime. I did the 6 time. When I go up for parole, it's up to them to be like, well, for violent crimes, they're usually not going to let you out for the first. They're going to give you 24. They're going to make you do 24 more months. They're going to try to keep you in there as long as they can. The most they could have kept me in there was 8 months.
Wow.
8 years.
You didn't even do this crime?
Nah, that ain't my type of shit. I ain't never been somebody to be trying to rob somebody at a bus stop or some shit like that. Then, even though I was a younger kid at the time and getting into this shit, that wasn't my type of shit. I wasn't into robbing people.
How did you feel going day by day incarcerated for a crime that you didn't do? How did that feel, sleeping, waking up, going to sleep, taking a shower, interacting with people that actually did crimes? How did that feel?
You be trying to make sense of everything, because you got to remember, when you get sentenced, depending on how long your sentence is and no matter what, it's like, I don't want to be here right now, but I know when I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to still be here. I know when I wake up next week, I'm going to still be here. I know when I wake up next month, in a few months, I'm going to still be here. I know I'm going to wake up in a few years, I'm going to still be here. Even though as much as you don't want to be here right now, you got to live with that fact that when I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to still be here. 2 years from now, I'm going to still be in this cage. So that's one way of dealing with the anguish of that type.
No, I feel you. I hear you. I don't ever want to feel what that feels like, but gosh damn. So when you're there, some people get time added on their time because of things happening while they're incarcerated. Was that ever your case, or did you see that happen to people where, or is it even possible that someone could actually be not guilty for a crime, but get into something in jail and actually end up harming somebody and get time on top of time?
Hell yeah, that shit happen all the time. That's why you got to be very mindful how you move. You ain't going to have no easy nothing. Even if you got to do 90 days, it might not be an easy 90 days. You can have 30 days in jail, and it don't have to be an easy 30 days. It don't have to be an easy ride. You get in there at a certain time. I don't know. I've been protected all my life in a certain kind of way. I can't say it's like angels or whatever the case may be. And I don't know, maybe it's how I am. But usually by the time I go through certain things, it's a calming effect. So it's like my life's been like that a lot.
So even though you were in there, you felt protected. You just felt like certain things just wouldn't happen to you.
Yes, it's not that certain things wouldn't happen. It's crazy to describe it. Because to somebody else, it could still be crazy. But to me, it's not that crazy.
Were you at peace with?
Nah, I wasn't at peace. I wasn't at peace for a long time. I wasn't at peace until I was like at least 5 years in. Because, all right, you got to see, in my situation, it was kind of, you got to understand how my whole situation went. All right, first of all, I'm getting locked up for some shit I didn't do. So my first initial few months being locked up, I'm trying to get a bail. You feel me? I'm trying to get out.
Yeah.
So that was like my first initial 12 months. They don't want to give me a satisfactory bail because I had already had like some shit on my record from when I was younger. So they're not trying to give me a bail that I can get out on. So I'm trying to get this case dismissed. I'm trying to show them. So my first initial 12 months, 11, 15 months, trying to show them that this is not me, all the way leading all the way up to trial.
That you've grown beyond previous interactions with the law. That what they're saying that you did, you've grown beyond anything like that. That's not you.
Yeah, I'm trying to show them, like, yo, I got shot somewhere else. We trying to show everything. We trying to show, like, yo, homeboy say he got robbed. He probably wasn't even able to really see who robbed him. They wasn't supposed to bring him in my hospital room. The person, I got shot in my back. Police officer don't shoot people in their back. He said the dude pointed at him and he fired. If a dude pointed at you, there's no way in the world you could have shot the dude in the back. If you saying that the dude is facing you, how you shoot him in the back? I got shot in my back. They didn't even know I got shot in my back until months later. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. The district attorney found that out. He ain't say, well, okay, this might not be you. He was like, oh, that ain't changing my story. I'm still going to try to give it. So it's like, that's what I'm trying to tell you. My whole shit was like broke up into interims. That's why this is what I'm trying to tell you. Like little shit like that, I try to tell you. Like you feel in my life, sometimes I be feeling like something is protecting me, or even though I'm going through what I'm going through, I'm still being protected in a lot of different ways.
Maybe if you didn't go through that, you could have possibly ended up in something worse. So maybe this is actually where you're supposed to be.
All right. Nah, it ain't even that. Like that was a part of how I started mentally working out my situation. What I'm saying is my first 2 years was trying to beat the case in trial.
Yeah.
My second 2 years, so it was like broken up into it. Now I'm trying to beat it on appeal. I'm trying to get out. My whole time there, I'm trying to get out. So as time is passing, but as time is passing, it's going into these intervals. The first 2 years was trying to get out of here. The second 2 years was I blew trial. Now I'm trying to beat it on appeal. Boom. By the time appeal come back, I didn't beat the appeal. Now I'm 2 more years to go to the board. Now I'm already here 4 years. 2 more years. Now I go to the board, see what they say. Boom. Then they on some bullshit. They made me do 2 more years. So my whole shit was, all right, I'm going to get out. I might get out on this stretch. No. All right, I might get out on this stretch. No. I might get out on this stretch. No. So it's a lot of disappointment. It never was like I had to do 8 years straight.
When you think about this and how you were, because my only thing that I know about this is I've seen documentaries in which people that were innocent fight. How did that feel, knowing that you're innocent for this crime? You're being held. How is that, just going through the daily on that alone?
It's crazy, man, because it happened in my fucking 20s, man. They took all my 20s, really, man. And it was like, and my life was just balancing out and getting real good at that time, man. My life was super good at that time, man. Word. Right before that shit happened.
Were you married? Did you have kids?
That's my word. All of that. There was a lot of if I didn't go, but then again, if I didn't go, because I was very violent at that time.
Very what?
I was violent. I was violent as fuck.
Okay.
See, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, these are the type of things that help me work it out. Because you got to remember, we in Brooklyn, son. Brooklyn at that time, back in 88, 89, 90, Brooklyn is a violent place. And if you making money and doing your thing and moving around and you living a little bit better than everybody else, you was a target. If you was living a little bit better than everybody else during them times, it was real. Everybody couldn't just do what everybody do now. Everybody can just wear jewelry and come out and wear Jordans, and everybody couldn't do that back then. Like, you got tested for that. You couldn't just put the uniform on back there and just walk around acting like you was going to be tested. Like, now anybody could just put the uniform on and go to the club and look like you're $1 million.
Back in those days, that was not the thing. What days were these? Because for some reason, I don't know why I'm thinking this is during the crack era when crack was popping. Like, was that the case, or?
Yeah, this is exactly around in the 80s. I mean, New York City in the 80s, in the 90s, you know what I mean? Early 90s. But all, you know what I mean, it didn't really get like it is now with more lax about it.
But, so it was different from now to then. But when you were locked up, initially, when you first, they put the cuffs on you.
Right.
To when you got out, how was that? Because it sounds like you literally was frozen for years, and then you come out to a society that's very different.
But that's how it is. It's like, that's exactly what it is. A police car is like a time machine. A lot of people last time they was ever on the street was when they got in that police car or when they got them handcuffs put on. And then it just flings you into the future. You know what I mean? It's like some cars are just getting out today that they got locked up. That's why they got locked up 6, 5, 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. So it's like, it like flings you. It like flings you. So you in this cryo state, like in this suspension animation type of reality where you in, where the world is going on, but you're not a part of it, but you still existing in time, but you just not taking part in the world that's going on. So you in like this cryo, you in this stagnant.
You in limbo. Everything in life is in limbo for you until you get out.
Yeah, that's why it's like prison is a mental thing. You can't grow up in prison. And like, if you don't grow up before you go to prison, you're not growing up in prison. You can advance yourself, you can get knowledge and everything, but you can't mature in there because the things in life that's going to make you mature is not in there. You can't pay bills in there. You can't go to the store and buy certain shit in there. Everything is given. You treat it like a child. You got gyms. And that's just, you got to pay for it in the street. So you probably won't have a gym in the street if you got to pay for it. You might not have a basketball and you might not have a TV in your house. You got to pay for it. And then everything is food. These are things that you got to be disciplined. You have to have the discipline, know how to manage whatever you're doing, manage whatever you got, your home, your business, your car notes. If you ain't never had these type of things before you went in there, how is you going to learn that in there?
Did you have a wife, kids, or anything of the sort before you went in?
All of that, man. Shit, me and my wife was together before that. We was already together 5-6 years already. We was going on our third. We was going on our
fourth year?
Fourth baby, because she was pregnant at the
wow.
We was going on our
she was pregnant when you got locked up?
Yeah, she was pregnant.
Oh, gee, how is that? You know, a child is being raised in your absence. Children were being raised in your absence.
That's why when I came home, because those are the things that you miss. It's not the money. It's not the fun. It's not the traveling. It's like, damn, I could be home like making breakfast with the kids right now. And especially like me, like all my kids was from the same woman, all of them all in the same house. So we was a family shit.
You was a unit.
Right. So going to the laundry and making them something to eat and sitting down and watching, doing family shit. That was everyday ish.
So look, you were put on pause.
Exactly.
You were put on pause from the unit, but the unit kept growing. How was that when you get out?
Come on, that's another state of prison that they in because they fractured now. She got to do everything. They still young. My oldest was going on 6 at the time, so they still young. She dealing with 4 and a newborn at a young age. I mean, at that time she was like 23, 22. So it was crazy on them because now she got to be the breadwinner. She got to try to figure it out. She got to try to maintain them and maintain everything. So it was definitely hell on her.
And on top of that, this is a whole nother level, but conjugal visits and all that, like, is that something that you get? Or, because I know a lot of dudes, they worry about the faithfulness of the young lady or the partner when they're away. But was that ever a concern of yours? Did she come see you? Like, how was that?
You learn, that's how you start to learn how to love on different levels. You can't be loving, you can't be on no high school issue where you worry about who fucking who. Because it's like me, man. You learn how to love. See, a lot of people want to love from the waist down. Yeah. But you gotta love from the shoulders down. You gotta love a person, everything. You can't just be worried about what's happening from the waist down. Because in reality, if you gone for a few years, you might as well do something because I'm not gonna believe it anyway. Like, you might as well go ahead and do something because if you tell me you didn't, it's like I might not never really believe that.
You're like, you lying, son. You lying.
So you might as well go ahead because the bottom. All right, see, when it comes to these kind of situations, that's what motherfuckers really don't be understanding what relationships really, really, really be about. Because a lot of people, when the relationship get tested, they're going to fall apart.
1,000.
You feel what I'm saying? When you trying to choose somebody to come with, you got to choose somebody that you feel is not going to fall apart when everything go down.
Yeah.
Like boxing, it's like being in a boxing ring. You gotta have somebody in your corner. If you get knocked down, they know how to tell you to get back up. They know how to tell you what combinations to use. They know your strengths. They know your weaknesses. Stay back. Keep your hands up. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes they smack you. They smack you and tell you, yo, you wake up.
Yeah, wake up. Stop that bullshit. You ain't guarding whatever. You ain't keeping your hands up. Or it's like, and then when you go back in that corner, they talk to you. And y'all try to win this fight together. And when y'all win it, that just feels so good because y'all didn't let none of those obstacles stop y'all from knowing who y'all is to each other. That's the strength in itself. And a lot of people are not taking the time to nourish that between each other. Motherfuckers just want to feel good while shit is good.
I talk to people a lot about relationships. And I always hear a lot of women say, oh, if the man cheats, it's over. Or if the woman cheats, it's over. People don't seem to really allow the test to take place. And see, sometimes people cancel people out of their lives that are really for them because of a mistake or a misstep or a situation.
Yeah, because they're not, and that's what I'm trying to tell you, because they just thinking of things in their own selfish ways. And a lot of people try to love as a child when you become an adult. Like a lot of people try to still love like you're a child. When you're an adult now. You better know who got your back, first of all. Whether this person is a faithful person, whether this person is an unfaithful person, you better know what that person got your back first. Who would kill for you? A lot of people don't have that. A lot of people don't know what that feels like to have somebody that will ride, die, kill, anything for you. You feel what I'm saying?
Sometimes you turn your back on the people that will kill for you, that would ride for you too. And you gotta know. You gotta know, like, yo, my bad, I'm sorry.
Exactly, because I used to tell a lot of women, I used to have conversations with women, like, yo, what would you want? It's like, what do you want? What would you rather? You rather somebody that treats you like a queen, but for some reason, dude is unfaithful sometimes? Or would you rather somebody that's faithful all the time that just get on your nerves and just an asshole? Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, which one you gonna take? Because you got some women that as long as he don't cheat, she don't care. He can use heroin. He ain't got to pay bills. It's like he can be non-productive, non-good at all. Like, what type of fucking shit is that? Like, that ain't the type of person you want either. You gotta really, really start understanding. It's like, I grew up in a world where I didn't know nobody that didn't cheat. Everybody, if this girl was being good to this dude, he cheated. If this guy was being good to this girl, she cheated. My brother cheated. Her brother cheated. His brother cheated. My uncle cheated. My cousins cheated. Everybody that I knew. So it's like,
I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing about that life. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you probably don't. You know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying?
We gonna keep it 1,000.
That's the kind of world I grew up in. So cheating wasn't a major thing with me. Like, women cheating, like,
it was just a matter of life. Like, things happen.
Yeah, that's just some shit part of life. It's up to you whether you're gonna stay with the person, because then you got to balance your relationship out. I don't think guys leave their women for cheating once or twice, and then you can get with a girl that for the last 10 years she been fucked 100 dudes. Like, what's this about? You leave your husband because he cheated once or twice, and then you go get with a dude that for all the time you was in a relationship with your husband, he done slept with 50 different women. That's not a good fucking trade-off. Like you not, where did you trade up? Like, what are you doing? Then you gonna get with somebody that's not gonna hold you down, not gonna be there for you. They don't really know you like that.
Yo,
come on. Like,
if you ask me personally, when you end a relationship and start off, it's just wash, rinse, repeat. Just because you start off with somebody new don't mean you're not gonna deal with the same problems. You just pretty much starting off from scratch. So that's that.
Yeah, it's not really even starting off from scratch. It's like sometimes you just miscalculating the value of the person.
Oh, wow. That's so true.
Yeah, you really, really heard something the other day. They was like, when you there, your presence is felt, and when you're not there, your presence is missed. It happens a lot.
That was definitely your case while you were locked up.
Yeah, you trying to be the strength. You got to try to, because somebody that's trying to hold you down is trying to hold you down. And you got to be able to try to help them and encourage them and motivate them and show them why they doing this and why they going to be rewarded and what's the reward and why we keeping this together. You can't be no asshole trying to get up, bitch, you tough because you fucking bitch.
Oh, man.
That shit ain't going to allow y'all to grow.
Nobody want to hear that on top of that, especially if you can't even come home and lay it down. It's like, you better stay in your lane, G.
Come on, a lot of motherfuckers is running their partners away because they not mature enough. You don't want to think about these type of things. You don't even want to consent to these type of things. But these are the type of things you just got to know that this type of shit happen in the world. Just because somebody make a mistake, like we human beings. Yeah. We got weaknesses. We are prone to make mistakes. We have to make mistakes. That's part of our growth. Yeah,
exactly. In order to grow, you got to make mistakes.
Yeah, and sometimes we get hypnotized. Not even hypnotized. Sometimes we get certain thoughts could be in our fucking head. It's just fucking, like, how would you say it? Like they can, it's like a thought could possess you. Like you can get possessed by certain thoughts. Thoughts is powerful. Bro. For instance, homeboy, look at homeboy that made the first telephone, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't no telephone before that. So just imagine him telling his friends, I'm going to make a device that I could talk to people that's not even here. He had to be possessed with that thought to keep failing and keep failing and keep failing until he did it. Certain get possessed by some shit that's in your mind. So it's like, it's different reasons why people do different things. And you got to understand, like, people go through different eras in their life. It's crazy.
Failure is only failure if you let it take over you.
Yeah, if you keep doing the same shit over and over and hurting people and fucking yourself up, that's failure. An error is an error. A mistake is a mistake. Oh, shit, I didn't mean to do that shit. Oh, I can't do that shit no more. Damn, I ain't even mean to hurt y'all like that. That shit happened like that? And then that's, oh, shit, that's, I can't have that happen. And then you got to make amends. You know, I'm sorry for hurting whoever I hurt. I ain't mean to do that. You got to deal with that shit across the board. You can't be just, oh, shit, I ain't mean to do it. Y'all know whoever hurt, and deal with it like.
How many years has it been since you've been out?
It's been over 20 years, man. I don't fuck with that jail shit. I was never with that jail shit, man. The niggas ain't locked me up for that shit. You would have never locked my ass up. I don't play that jail shit, man.
There's no possibility of you going back. I only know from movies, you'll see the CEO say, "I see you when you come back," and the inmate says, "You'll never see me back," and sometimes they end up back, sometimes not. But is that what it's really like what is it like when you, that day that you're released from prison?
Oh, man, that's like, whew, god damn, that is like, I can't even describe that, man. But like I said earlier, if brothers is not maturing before they get in that situation, it's going to be hard for them to mature. All right, like right now, right? My little man, one of my boys, his son just got locked up, right? Mm-hmm. Now, his son is young. His son is like 17 years old. But they out there with that gang shit. Mm-hmm. So he must have got into some kind of skirmish. He must have got into some kind of skirmish with some other gang members or whatever. And he got locked up for it. But he's young. You don't want him young. You don't want him locked up in jail. They gave him probation, 5 years. They let him out. They was like, all right, we're going to give you probation for 5 years. Now, this situation, he going right back to where he was at. He going right back to the same house, the same block, same everything.
Doing the same issue?
No. Now, suppose he don't want to do the same issue, right? Mm-hmm. Suppose he don't. Suppose he say, yo, I can't go to jail. So when he go outside and them dudes that he was warming with before see him, what he going to tell him? Yeah. I ain't with that no more?
There's no timeout. There's no I'm on base.
You feel what I'm saying? They gonna be like, nigga, you was really at that shit you was out here wilding 5 months ago. Like I said, ain't nothing changed with us. And we still, when we see you, it's on sight. It's the same thing. So now he's gonna have to try to figure out, he really got to get out of there. Because while he's still living there, it's going to be a 99% chance that even if he has to do it by defending himself, because there ain't no self-defense law in New York. So even if he got to defend himself, he on probation now. If he get into a fight, he can get violated and locked back up. So there's many different scenarios that make people go back in there. But you just, like me, I can be honest with you, man. I was in there. I went to college and...
Wait, you went to college while you was locked up?
Hell yeah, man. What I'm going to be doing and I got to listen, man.
You finished up? You caught your degree and all that?
I got a degree, but then they took away the master's program and all of that.
Wow. So you was trying to get your master's program while incarcerated? Yeah,
because you did. Like, come on. It was like, and I didn't really give a fuck about college neither. I didn't even give a fuck. And then I spoke to my man, and my man was like, yo, when you get back out, at least when you go to fucking, you fill out a job application, they ask you if you've been to college, nigga, you can say, yeah, now.
I'm going to have to say pause, and I applaud you for using your time effectively. But do those same programs, because I've heard that those programs have been taken away. Is that the case, or does that depend on where you're at?
I was there like right before they started taking those programs away. That's why I be telling you, how I be protected. Like, and in different ways when I be staying protected. Like, I could have just kept, like, all right, like I get transferred to a jail, right? I get transferred there. Right before I get transferred there, 15 people just got killed today.
Dang.
When I get there, everything just calms down for like the next 2-3 years. You feel what I'm saying? So it was like, that's why sometimes my whole life been like that, doing many different ways.
So you thank God for all the blessings.
Yeah, because what I learned and taught myself while I was dealing with that situation, all the blessings and the lessons that I learned is priceless. I didn't want to learn them in that way, but it ended up being priceless for me. And like you were saying about people going back, like, I didn't know what the fuck was going to do. I mean, times had changed, people changed, situations changed. So I'm like, damn, I got to go out there. I got to see how all these changes, I got to figure out how I'm going to use all these changes to benefit me. But my one thing I knew was I wasn't coming back in there.
You thought about it. You thought about how life has changed since you went in, and how are you going to reacclimate yourself to this? What you thought about, what you predicted, was that the case, and how was it? How was the reality of that, coming back to your family, coming back to your lady, coming back to trying to find work as a convicted felon? How was that?
It was crazy in a lot of different ways, because I was used to making money before I went in there.
Illegally, though?
Legally, illegally.
Oh, okay, so you're doing a little bit of both, this and that? All right.
I was just used to making money before I went in there. So coming back out, you know, I was like, damn, I can't be on no gangster shit no more because that gangster shit ain't really even, the gangster shit ain't adding up to that. I mean, I can come out here and sell drugs. I can come out here and sell drugs, some gangster shit, but it ain't going to be sweet. Somebody gonna go down. That's one thing about the hustle in life and living and being in some criminal shit. Yeah, you might make a lot of money, you might do a lot of things, but somebody gonna go down. Somebody gonna get shot. Somebody gonna go to jail. Somebody gonna get killed. Somebody you can be the nucleus to all of these things happen. I came up like I can't even fuck with that.
Absolutely sounds like the definition of a hard knock life. But you found a way to be where you are today. Are you comfortable where you at in life now? I don't want to say despite or in spite. Are you comfortable where you're at now, where your life has evolved to?
We happened through a lot of pain. You know, I'm grateful and I'm good with how things are. Like right now, my station in life, how I'm doing, I work, I make good money, got a nice crib, and got all the things that I need. I can help whoever I can help when I needed to help. So,
and you're able to provide for your family as you feel like a man should.
Yeah, all my kids is grown, healthy. Got beautiful grandkids. I got beautiful family. Everybody I love is mainly healthy. Especially going through all this COVID shit right now. Everybody is healthy and making it through. I'm just losing a lot of my elders because I'm getting up in my 50s now. So my elders is getting up in their 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to lose them.
You've had a challenging growth process. Do you share that with your children? Do you share that with your grandchildren to say, listen, these are some of the things that I've had to go through in life, and I don't want to see you go through that. I see you doing some things. I see how you're moving, and I'm going to tell you, I've been there, I've done that. Recalculate your movements.
You know what I mean? It's like you can't teach people what they know. You can't teach people what they already know.
People feel like they know everything.
People feel like they know. People feel like they know a lot, and knowing a lot is impossible. Knowledge is infinite, but people don't look at knowledge like that. People think that they can learn a lot of things. And knowledge is infinite. Knowledge don't work like that. You can't measure knowledge. I mean, you can't say you know more than the next person because you might know a lot about electricity. He might know a lot about plumbing. He might know a lot about carpentry. He might know a lot about flying planes. He might know about a lot about. So it's not about that. But when I meant about you can't teach people stuff they already know, the beginning process of learning is accepting the fact that you don't know.
True.
That's the beginning of learning anything. You got to be like, I don't know this, and I need to know. Let me go through the process of learning. You know what I'm saying? If you're not accepting, if you don't know how to accept things that you don't know, you're going to have a hard time learning because you ain't going to be figuring out what it is that you need to learn. You can go in the library and read every book in the library, but if the right books ain't in there, you just waste a lot of fucking time reading a bunch of fucked up ass books.
That's the truth, bro. Wow. That
is so true. Reading bullshit. You understand it? So when it comes to passing on knowledge, it's like, you got to remember, Martin Luther King died in 1968, right? Martin Luther King died in 1968. I was born in 1969, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm one of the firstborns with this type of freedom that black people had. Oh. Martin Luther King didn't even see the type of freedom that I had. He didn't have that in his life.
I see that.
He died for that. So everybody from after his life was taken, everybody born after that is the firstborn to see this kind of freedom.
Never thought about things like that, man. And when you say the date of Martin Luther King's demise and your date of birth, I've never put things into perspective like that.
Yeah, so just imagine how my life was. See, in the 70s, of civil rights, everybody first getting the opportunity to get jobs that they couldn't get, to move around a little bit more than they was able to move around. Then when everybody started figuring something out, you come and hit them with the crack and the gun in the 80s.
How did you feel? How did you feel growing up in a crack era?
Well, I got to be grateful that I grew up in Brooklyn.
Why is that?
Because I grew up with certain things. I grew up with certain things. All right, here to John, right? I grew up with certain, that's why I be telling you, man, I've been protected for a long time. And even before when I was young, and it's just the way I grew up. All right, I grew up in the 70s, right? I'm coming of age in the 70s, right? Mm-hmm. My first 11 years was in the 70s, right?
Okay. When I was born, 77, great year. King was born. Go ahead, get it.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm right. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm growing up. I'm growing up and during this time. So you got to see how I'm growing up during this time. During this time, my father's making a way for himself. You feel what I'm saying? He's establishing himself. Your dad and them, they establishing themselves. They working together. I'm right up under that, watching all of that come to fruition. My mom's is establishing herself, and then my mom's is Jamaican. I'm exposed to like a Rastafarian. I'm exposed to like a Rastafarian culture in my household. So my diet and my disciplines is all from eating what I'm not eating, the type of ways I'm looking at the world, learning Bob Marley shit.
Your movements. You talking about your movements.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? This is my cocoon that I'm growing up in. My dad ain't no alcoholic, Ronald John. He's an educated businessman. Boom. So I got him and his brothers and they friends and how they moving, establishing. So this let me know that legitimately it's possible.
You talk about your mother's movements, your father's movements, your uncle's movements. What made you
tighter? It was more tighter. The family was more closer.
But what made you follow? Because you said you was violent, you were doing other things, some not legal. What made you go down that path as far as opposed to following a path of more legal aspirations?
Because the opportunities wasn't there as much. Like you had to be possessed back then to think that you was going to get a job and make it. And make something out of yourself. You had to be possessed. Your thoughts had to be. You had to be possessed in that, because look at what a young black kid is looking at, right? Look at the type of world that a young black kid is looking at. And I was watching something the other day. This is fun, right? A kid is growing up, right? Kid is growing up, right? A kid don't really know no difference. He don't know the difference between the world, right? He don't know the difference between the world. Right? You're watching cops and robbers. You're watching cowboys and Indians. You're rooting for the cowboys, not knowing that you're the Indian, right?
Yeah.
You're rooting for the cowboys to kill you. You're the Indian. Yeah.
You could have been the cowboy or the Indian, but you just in life feel like you have to be the Indian.
No, because this is a color thing. When you're dealing with this,
Is a color thing?
It's a color thing. When you're dealing with the Indians, you're dealing with a color thing. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's because they dark making them the criminal.
Yeah.
It's because they dark that's making them the ones that's being
unfortunate realities. Yeah.
But at first you're not thinking like that. It's only one day when it's gonna be one day gonna come and you're gonna be like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what I'm rooting for the Cowboys for? Now I want the Indian to get away. Like, you gotta get away.
I want to see the Indian thrive.
Yeah, exactly. Then you get into that because like you like, damn. So you gotta notice that this is a scientific fact. This start happening to most black kids around 3rd, 4th grade. And this is when most black kids start failing in school. Like they could be good as fuck from 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, but once they start getting to 4th, 5th, and the realities of life start hitting them.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I do.
Then they start. So depending on your home structure, who's in your crib, how they can motivate you, how they can keep you focused, how they can show you how you can manipulate these things to your advantage. If you don't have this in your home, and then you gotta remember back then, like I'm telling you, I'm growing up in the 70s. So I'm growing up with the culture in my home. And this is a culture that's not really accepted by mainstream society yet. So I wasn't wearing no dreads. Motherfuckers wear dreads now. Like back then, we wear no dreads. If you wearing dreads back then, it was a totally different thing.
As opposed to now when every culture got dreads. Japanese people got dreads. Why?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely different. I feel you.
Back then it was a total difference. You wasn't even getting accepted like that. So I had already, abstract lifestyle was already ingrained in me already. On top of that, now listen, and all of this is in the 70s, right? All this in the 70s. Then on top of that, you're getting teachings from under Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X.
Oh, yes.
So you got to remember, you got the black movement. Black power, black strength. All of this is what broke us so that we can have this little bit of freedoms that we haven't. So all of these teachings is motivating teachings. Yo, you black, you beautiful, you black, you strong. You need to learn about your blackness. Roots is coming out. Hip hop is being started. Yeah. All of this stuff is happening in my youth. I'm growing into all of this is my roots, my veins, all of this coming in. Now the 80s, right?
Yep.
Now you're going to the second half from 11 to 20, right? You're going from the 80s to the 90s. Now you're getting into, because in the beginning of the 80s, to be honest with you, the beginning of the 80s was kind of sweet. You ever heard this song, Ain't No Stopping Us Now?
Oh, of course. Come on, brother.
All right. That was like an anthem. Ain't no stopping us now. Everything was like, people had like their little job. They had a little hustle on the weekends, their parties. It wasn't no, heroin was like kind of, people was like getting away from that heroin shit, but nobody knew that crack was about to come. Nobody knew that it wasn't a lot of guns on the street back then. You was a gangster if you had a 22 or 38. If you had a shotgun, yeah.
There was no Uzis out there. There wasn't
no automatic. Like you might have one or two people that they family brought back an old Colt 45 automatic from the war. But other than that, it was 22s and 38s and shotguns. That's it. Like it was 10 dudes with 2 guns or 1 gun. Or 1 pop. It wasn't, but it was more of a fighting culture.
Yeah.
It was more of a fighting culture.
Things really changed over the years, from fighting to capping.
Because you got to, now listen, it's a fighting culture. 70s was a fighting culture, a stabbing culture. So when the guns came in the 80s, look what happened. A lot of the dudes that knew how to fight well, a lot of the dudes that were good fighters and stuff like that, they got hooked on crack, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the guys that wasn't good fighters, they got guns. So now they wish somebody that knew how to fight would come with that bullshit.
Off rip.
Exactly. Because you got a lot of guys that's fighters, but they not murderers. And you got a lot of guys that can't fight. They will kill you.
Yes, wow. Yeah.
You got a lot of guys that can fight, but they won't kill you. You got a lot of guys that can't fight that will kill you and everybody you with because they got that gun.
It's wild.
Yeah. So now it's a change, and it's like a changing. You see what I'm saying? Then you got guys that's smart, guys that were smart in school. These are guys that they learn how to manipulate the drugs better. So, I said you might have a lot of guys. All right, now like you might have guys like, all right, like the same way. Damn, I was watching something the other day about guys that they picked for the Navy SEALs, Special Forces.
Yeah.
Right. And the type of guys that they try to pick for Navy SEALs and Special Forces be guys that with PhDs that can win a bar fight.
So they can win a bar fight?
A guy, just imagine, a guy with a PhD, but he's tough enough to win a bar fight.
Oh, yes, it's the truth. Those are people that I really respect in life, to say the truth. You have to know where you're at and how you should maneuver.
Exactly. So these are the guys that's going to be the drug dealers in the hood. Guys that's good in school. If they go to school, they're going to be good in school. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, they still can handle themselves in the street. They still can fight. They still can handle a tough situation. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? These are going to be the drug dealers in the 80s. These are going to be the dudes that's going to stand out.
True.
But you growing up in Brooklyn, and Brooklyn means drugs equal murder, because you're not going to have these things. Brothers ain't going to just let you have no Mercedes-Benz in the 80s. Yeah. Brothers ain't just going to let you just walk around with jewelry on. You going to get, it's not like now. That's why it's a lot of confusion now. That's why a lot of women is getting mistreated and getting confused, because you got guys now that can just put on jewelry. They can just drive a Benz. They can just look like they just do, and they not going to get tested.
But they're not about that life.
They're not. They just look the part.
So
if a girl go to the bar and she see the dude, she might the real dude might be right next to him just chilling, but she see this dude, and this dude got on Guess this and Gucci that and that, but he ain't really built like that. He just look.
I always tell people, like, first of all, never look like meat amongst wolves.
Exactly.
Never look like meat amongst wolves. I don't wear jewelry. I don't wear any of that stuff. But at the same time, I hold myself. I hold my own, no matter where I'm at in the world. Never been. Never. I feel I've never been tested, because I don't play the part as if I'm trying to be a part of something that I'm not. So there's no reason. I'm not rocking like that. I don't need to wear jewelry. I don't need to wear flashy stuff. And I'm just a humble dude trying to be me, live to the next day, provide for my family, and see everyone be great. But at the same time,
you got a lot of killers. You got a lot of killers that feel that way too. They like, I'm not even gonna wear no jewelry because I don't even feel like killing nobody looking at me and do something stupid.
Yeah, I don't wear jewelry, bro.
Trust me, you got a lot, and that's why I told you. The real dude standing right there, and this imposter dude with all the trimmings will come and be next to you, and then somebody be looking at him and be thinking that he's the real one, and he's not.
Jewelry, and this is just my perspective, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say it. This is my perspective. But when you wear jewelry, for every 2 females that you attract with your jewelry, I feel you attract 10 dudes for the wrong reason.
Exactly.
That's just my perspective. Because while you out here looking sweet, you shining, you might attract 2 females, but you looking at 10 dudes trying to get you. Don't do it. But that's just me.
Oh yeah, that's a real.
Don't look like meat. Don't look like meat amongst the wolves.
Listen, that's a real observation. But see, like now, more and more brothers could get away with it because a lot of real dudes ain't even going to test you. They ain't even got no time to be even testing you to make sure you're real like that because they're not trying to put themselves in that situation. You know what I mean? It was just more prevalent. It was more prevalent back then. It was like a more, that's why a lot of brothers wasn't coming outside. A lot of people stayed in the house back then. Coming outside was real back in the day.
Yeah. I just did an episode. The episode I'm actually going to release was about just coming outside, being outside. And in some hoods, just coming outside could cost you your life.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. A lot of brothers wasn't even coming outside. They wasn't even coming outside. But they run around acting
like they holding it down.
Acting like they this and they that.
Whew. Listen here, fam. You talked about a lot. You talked about a lot on this here episode, and I appreciate you for it. You gave us a little bit of insight into going in, coming out, persevering, and being the best you that you could be on a daily. And I appreciate you for that. I really appreciate it. And I'm really thankful that you are able to provide and succeed for you and yours. Here on Talkin Sweet, it's a real deal.
Yeah, I got you.
Fam, something tells me this is not going to be the first and last episode that I do with you. I look forward to doing another one. You have a lot of knowledge. You're talking that real and you're sharing it from a perspective that's to be appreciated. I appreciate you here on Talkin Sweet. Any last words?
Yeah, man, big up, man. Everybody just try to stay safe through this COVID. Let's see how these vaccines do. Let's see if these vaccines work.
Word. Word. That's all I got to say. Word.
Let's see if these vaccines work, man. I mean, just try to stay healthy, man, and take care of your family. And you already know, all you got to do is hit me up. And if I could do it for you, you know I'm right here.
1,000%. All right, we out.
That's about it.